Hey, vinyl community, welcome to a very special episode of Let's Shit on These Vinyl Records. And as you can see, I have a guest host, Martin Parrott, who has been on my channel before. We've collaborated on a video. Hello, Martin.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Well, I brought Martin on because we want to have a special international version of the series that I've had going. So Martin has pulled some records from his collection that we are both going to have a laugh at from his physical copies. And then I've got a mixture of physical copies from my collection, but then I've also got some images that I have pulled off the internet from albums that I'm somewhat familiar with. Some I'm not as familiar with, but we're just gonna, have a very relaxed kind of a video here. As you know, Martin is from the UK. Martin, remind me, where in the UK exactly are you from?
I live about an hour northwest of London. Yeah, between Oxford and London, I guess. Yeah, without giving away my personal details too much. Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm very anxious and looking forward to seeing some of your records. So if you want to start us off with the first album that you have to show.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. My first album you are probably familiar with. In fact, you may well have this album. I have a friend who has a problem, certainly used to have a problem with naked babies. Not in any strange way, just he always said that when he went on a beach, he didn't like seeing naked babies. So this is second album, I think, by the band The Human League. And just some naked babies. Underneath also, no, I'm not into human feet, but I don't want to see human feet. And these are particularly quite bad shoes, aren't they, from back in the day, That is The Human League. And the funny thing is, a slight irony is that I don't think the two girls had actually joined The Human League yet until Dare, the third album. So it's almost a little bit of a prophecy that they were going to join.
Right. Well, and that's just it almost reminds me a little bit of the Beatles, the Butcher cover with just kind of the babies laying all over there. And then you've got like the legs and the feet there. And I'm not sure exactly what they were going for with that. It reminds me a bit. Yeah, it reminds me a bit of there's a Monty Python movie called The Meaning of Life, and there's a scene in the third world where this woman, she's like washing dishes or something, and this baby just drops out of her onto the floor. That's what I think of when I see that cover. But crazy. I feel like I've seen a version of that cover, but I didn't realize there were so many naked babies there on the floor. Wow.
In honor of my friend,
an eyesore.
Naked babies. Yeah. So we have a big dump. I almost feel like we need to have a chain for the water closet to pull it.
Exactly. Yeah, the sound effect. I know, that'd be so fitting.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So that's the first one there.
Okay. Well, the one that I have to show, and this is actually a 12-inch single, and it's one that I've had in my collection for a while, and I've always there's certain animation on record albums that I just think really misses the mark. And it may have looked okay at the time when it came out, but now it just kind of looks a little bit silly or ridiculous. And I'm talking about, this is Say, and you've got Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. First of all, Michael Jackson looks like his legs are taller than Paul McCartney's, entire body in real life. Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Just the proportion here. Like, I know I've never met him obviously in person, but I can't imagine like he looked that way. And just, with their arms intertwined, they've got these goofy grins on their faces. It's just silly looking. I would have gone with maybe that picture for the cover,
Yeah.
but the artist rendering on here, it almost looks like a, something they would have done for like a movie advertisement. Sort of like, oh, see the new movie starring Michael
Yeah.
Jackson and Paul McCartney. Say. It's got that kind of quality to it, but I've always hated that 12-inch single. I've got it on 7-inch. I've got a picture sleeve of it as well, but yeah, not good. Not good. Flush.
Okay, for the next one, we're going to go to Russia,
Okay.
formerly known as the Soviet Union, where this would have been made in 1985 on the Melodia label. It's a picture of the guy on the back. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I can't actually speak Russian or understand any of the words on here. Sometimes you do have a translation, but the actual cover, yeah, project yourself onto this particular cover. So you've got the cosmos here, which obviously the Soviet Union conquered after United States of America. And then there just appears to be a window there with some sky in it, and I don't quite know what that's about. I mean, it looks like they haven't thought about it much, maybe, or it's just cheap, or I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand the concept behind it, because I could maybe see if you had like a larger picture of the sky and then a smaller window opening to the cosmos or something, but it just, nobody thought that through. I don't think very well, because it doesn't make any kind of sense, and it's not even appealing to really look at. It's just off center. Why is it up in the top corner there? And there's nothing even interesting going on in the cosmos. It looks almost, I wasn't even sure what that was when you held it up. I'm like, okay, like, is that lava? Is it like a close-up picture of black leather or something? I couldn't even tell.
It could actually be like just tarmac on a road, even, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, like blacktop or something.
I was going to say something more controversial, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number two. My number two. Call it
Yeah, I really need to, if I could somehow work in the sound effect, I would. Okay, this one is, again, artwork that just is, in retrospect, cheesy. I mean, I appreciate the detail that went into this, but looking back on it, it just looks silly. It looks like something maybe that an older child might have drawn. But this is the Beach Boys, and this is their album, Keeping the Summer Alive. I'm going to take it out of the sleeve so you don't get the glare so much. But it's like a polar scene, and then there's like this bubble that they're in, this protective bubble, but just the drawings, proportionately, I don't think they're that great. I've just never been a fan, like, especially, Carl Wilson here. I don't know. I've just never been a fan. I mean, I can appreciate the concept, but I don't know. I think the drawing was just not very well done, and I've never been really a fan of this cover. It's the first time you get the Beach Boys classic logo there, but just never been a fan of that.
Why juxtapose the Beach Boys with somewhere very cold? Is it an ironic sort of thing or something? And they're in one of these snow globes that you shake, or?
Yeah, I think they were going for kind of the snow globe. Well, except it's a reverse snow globe, because in a real snow globe, you'd have the winter scene inside the globe, and then outside it would be normal. But this, I think really what happened, if I were to try to get inside the mind of the person who created the Beach Boys, approached them and said, okay, our album is called Keeping the Summer Alive. And he thought, okay, well, if you're in a cold climate, you might only get summer a few days out of the year or something. I don't know. And he thought, oh, well, how could we preserve summer? Well, if we had I can understand that. I think, but the drawing itself, just not crazy about artwork. Trying to draw replicas or pictures of a band. It just never, in my experience anyway, comes off looking that great. It looks a little silly, a little cheesy, like that one does. So
yeah, I agree. Drawing bands, yeah, tricky.
yeah.
Another one. Okay, we'll stay in space for a second. So, well, I'll just show this to you. This is a I don't think I've even ever listened to this album. It's a Christian album, so it's going to have a twist, a pastiche of something that is like common, general modern culture, but it's sort of nicked a bit, and then it's tried to do something. So there we go. You might have seen this cover. I don't know.
I have not. It looks almost
So
like a video game or something.
Yeah, video game kind of theme, but it's called Star Wars of Darkness and Light. So I can't really say much. It's just it's obviously they've
Now who's Bill Davidson? Who is he?
I've absolutely no idea. I have no idea. Here he is on the back.
Okay.
I don't know. This is probably, I would have thought, 1980-ish. Yeah. I can't comment about it. We'll move on.
Yeah, but it does look silly. Like his head is just floating in space on the screen of some video game, or like asteroids or something. But the title Star Wars, it's funny you mentioned that, because this cover was meant to be ironic. That the title of the album is called Star Wars, and it's by a band called Wilco. I don't know if you're familiar with the album that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they have an album called Star Wars, and you would expect a cover that has space or something space science fiction related. This is the cover. I mean, you couldn't get any farther away from Star Wars if you try, but I know it was meant to be ironic. Jeff Tweedy has a great sense of humor, and so I'm sure when the title of the album was released, everybody's expectation for the album cover would have something to do with Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker or space related, and then you get a picture of a white kitten. It's like, okay, all right. So
Tweedy, that's the guy's name, isn't it, in Wilco?
Yeah, like the bird, the cartoon bird or something. But yeah.
Okay, this next album is so it's two of my favorite bands are Australian. So and this is from 1991. These two gentlemen, that's the back. So Steve Kilby of the Church, Under the Milky Way, Starfish.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Brian Glennon, who was in the Go-Betweens, who I don't know if they would have been known in US so much. They came over to the UK for a while, lived here, didn't really have a lot of success, certainly singles chart-wise, and then went back to Australia. And what sort of a cover would a duo put, rather than a picture of them both on the cover or something nice? I like this album, but it's got a picture of an old woman on the cover. Hey, hello, how are you? And quite a pointed nose, quite witchy looking. Is there a track about witches or anything? Not really, no. So I'm not. They called themselves Jack Frost as well. So I don't know.
She looks like someone out of the Conjuring universe, like a horror type woman who, comes to you like at the foot of your bed and is standing over you menacingly. It's a little disturbing, I have to say. I'm a little unsettled.
He's going to be, it's not going to be a good night.
No, not at all. That one would have to get safely tucked back onto the shelf. I wouldn't be leaving that one out.
The other albums,
Good. Well, I'm going to go now, and I'm going to show some albums that I pulled off the internet. And this one that I'm going to show was suggested to me by Rod. He has a channel, The Happy Hippie. And can you see this?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Brainstorm, Smile a While.
Yeah, I don't particularly fancy any of them, to be fair. No,
and I've never understood. And as long as I've been doing these episodes, I'm always just baffled by how many, men in drag album covers there
Yeah,
are. But
Rolling
this has got to
Stone.
be one of the worst. I mean, it's so, they're not even attractive looking. I mean, if you had, someone who are genuinely models, maybe, but this just is so off-putting. I mean, I would walk into a record store and immediately, like, I am not buying this. I don't care how great the music is, but just based on the cover alone, I am not bringing this home. I'm not putting it in my record collection. And it doesn't have anything to do with the title. Like, smile a while. I mean, I guess smile for about 5 seconds, and then I get nauseous. But yeah, just not good. I have no idea. I tried to look up this band, and there's like 3 different bands that are called Brainstorm. And I couldn't find this album in any of their discography. So I have no idea. If anybody knows anything about this band, leave it in the comment section. But yeah, not good.
Right. I haven't got any cross-dressing, but I've got 3 records. I've got still a few more. We could whiz through these, but first one is another slightly disturbing one with children in it. Actually, they are dressed. It's a children's record of children's songs, so you'd expect it to have some children involved. One of the songs is about a carrot or carrots. My wife's not here, so I can't translate it all. So I'll show it. Basically, there's can you see there? There's some children that appear to be in,
the woman standing behind the children too. She's a bit terrifying.
Yeah, she's got ears, and well, they all have ears, don't they? And then, I mean, who decided that was a good idea? Even in the 1970s or so, I don't think that's right.
Well, and they're like wearing flesh-colored clothing as well, or at least that's the color that I'm reading off there. And then that what's that guy holding in his hand? Is that a carrot?
It's a carrot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and the set, could it be any more, low budget either? It looks like those kids actually designed the set.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what passed for art in the 1970s is really shameful. Wow. Popsy, pork and
yeah.
Yeah, can I get a closer look at that woman behind the children? And maybe I don't want to because I won't be able to erase that image. But yeah, she's really terrifying. And she's got a carrot. I mean, they all have carrots. So I think, yeah, that's. Wow.
I like carrots, but if I ever think about record, it's sort of,
I like carrots slightly less than I did about 30 seconds ago. Yeah, I'll put it that way. Wow. Okay. Well, gonna show another one. Since we're on the subject of, when you think of children too, sometimes you think of clowns. And I assume the band's name is The Clown, but this one actually got on CBS Records. He was a singer. Now, I think this must be maybe a single. I don't know if this is an album. I could not find this one on the internet either, or any information about who is the clown. He was a singer, now he's a clown. But well, if he was a singer, then what's the purpose of this record? Was this record made, before this picture was taken? Did he abandon a singing career to become a clown? He looks very miserable, not a happy clown. I don't know. It's one of those, it's a mystery that I'm not going to spend too much time unraveling, but.
It looks like he's got a carrot on his cheek.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't know. I can't even say. It looks like he's got a scar there or something, but yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, he was a singer. Now he's a clown. But no idea if you know anything about this cover, but I don't know if this predates Kiss. I think the farthest I got was this was from 1977. This record was, so still, even as recent as that, I can't find anything on there. So
when did Kiss start doing the whole stuff? Do you know?
Yeah, that was back in 74. So, they've been doing that for a while by that point, but I don't know. It's a very, very sad looking singer clown or something. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Flush.
Sorry?
Flush.
Yes. Okay. Two easy listening guys, much like the one that you showed, like with the Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, looking like they've been superimposed on a white background. Like what do they call it? Like that green background thing.
Green screen, yeah.
Yeah, here it's just two guys there.
Just sitting on a rock by the stream.
Maybe having a shit.
Yeah, well, it's so obvious that they just brought in some sort of rock to sit on, and then the background, it looks like some really bad, like you see some of those family photographs that like look really silly, and they use all the different kind of backgrounds. Now, is it two men? Is it two guys?
2 men.
Okay.
2 men.
All right. Yeah.
Muffin and Teppo. Yeah. From TV. Okay,
so that would have been like advertised on TV. That record. Okay. Yeah. Well.
So this is from 1983.
Wow, I love the pink shoes. Are those bowling shoes?
Did you ever have any like that? I had some, but they weren't red.
I never did, and I'm not. I promise you, I've never owned a pair of red shoes or pink shoes. But it's very colorful. He's got definitely a pastel ensemble. Oh, and now they got the sweaters like around the shoulders. They're draped around the shoulders, which is a very preppy kind of a look.
There you go.
Have you listened to the music?
Oh, they're terrible. It's just cheesy. I've got a couple more that are cheesy.
Okay.
I've got one other which is, I could save the best till last, I think.
Okay, like the grand finale. Great. Well, this is a physical copy that I have of this next record, and this is a band, Deep Purple. Now, Deep Purple, I mean, they had quite a few albums I could have picked. I could have picked Burn, very easily, because that's kind of, they tend to have some pretty silly looking, they superimpose their faces on some pretty silly, landscapes, like in rock. It's like Mount Rushmore, and then Fireball. You've got their faces with a comet trailing behind them. But for me, this one is definitely the worst. It's called "Come Taste the Band," and you've got their faces in a wine glass. I don't understand what "Come Taste the Band" means. I mean, I understand like, oh, try our music, but I don't want to taste you, Deep Purple. I'm quite content to listen to you, but just really weird. I've always thought this cover was weird, and I don't know, and if you're a Deep Purple fan, don't act like, oh, it's perfectly fine. I think it's a perfectly decent. No, it's not. It's just ridiculous. Anyway.
It must be the record company, a lot of these things. But if you were growing up in the 70s and you like your rock, your metal music, you like your Black Sabbath, they're all quite good covers, apart from that one with the guy with his red tights on.
Sabotage. Mm-hmm.
But why would you go into a record shop? The cover, it would put you off, wouldn't it?
It would. And I can see if you want to use it for a 7-inch single, a picture sleeve, like you want to get a little creative with that. But, when it comes to an album cover, I don't know. I mean, I like the music on it. I'm just kind of put off a little bit by the cover. So. Okay.
Right. Next one?
Yep.
Yeah. We're not taking too long, are we?
No, not at all. I think we're doing well on time. I think we wanted to keep it a little bit brief, and I think we're
okay.
Well,
He's a good old American guy. Pat Boone.
The Pat Boone family.
Now, my main problem with this cover, apart from him, I presume that these are all his daughters. I know nothing about Pat Boone apart from he was very big, you know. Here he is with all his daughters, and or maybe one's his wife. I don't know. But these clothes are not from the Holy Land. I'm absolutely convinced.
Yeah, it looks like a
American.
yeah, it looks like a grade school theater production of the Ten Commandments or something. I don't know, or Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I'm sorry, that is just not acceptable. You know, I haven't been to the Middle East, but generally, no. You know, this isn't. No, sorry. Yeah, there he is in his suit at the back. Look there. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't know. He was trying to go for an authentic look on the cover or something like that, but yeah, it looks like maybe, you know, a soundtrack album.
Yeah, maybe it's yeah, well, it's obviously religious, but one of those look like his wife, but he's just got daughters, has he? I had a boss once that had 5 daughters and no 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he had 5 daughters and no sons, and yeah. Anyway.
Well, and when you call it the Pat Boone family, that would certainly suggest that they're all singing on that album. I don't know if you've heard it at all. Yeah. Is it like a choral? Are they all singing as a group? Is it all like religious songs, like hymns?
Music from the album was featured in a television special filmed in Israel, starring the Pat Boone family. Laurie, Debbie, Cherry, Lindy, Shirley, and Pat.
Wow.
Maybe somebody can fill us in which one's his daughter, which one's his wife.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that they all look like it could be his daughters, if one of them misses one.
I decided to put it in my top 10 just because, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Yeah, give that one a good flush. All right, now this one, you know, I'm going to get into some territory here because I've got a lot of friends who are into heavy metal, hard rock, but, you know, I'm sorry, they've got some pretty atrocious album covers, starting with this one, Pantera, Metal Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like a 3rd grader drew it. And it's like a cat with a Arnold Schwarzenegger torso and some kind of weird sword there. I mean, it just looks like a bad tattoo. I don't know. It does not look good. It's not professional. Just weird on so many different levels. It's got like a tail, like a forked tail or something, you know, like a demon or whatever. And I don't know. Pantera fans, what do you think? What is going on here? And compared to, if you look at some of their later album covers, especially, you know, comparing their 90s covers to this one.
Was that it? Vulgar Display of Power? Was that them?
Yes. Yeah, same group. I think this was from the late 80s, maybe this album cover came out. I'm not a Pantera fan, so I couldn't tell you, but yeah, you know, spend some time and put some thought into your album covers. And this illustration should have just been rejected out of hand, I feel like, because it's just, I mean, it looks like a third grader drew it.
It looks like a really bad Striper album cover, doesn't it, or something?
Yeah, something. But even that would not even be acceptable on a comic book. Artwork. But I'm sure the band regretted it once they, you know, started gathering a fan base and actually released some acceptable covers. But that one always struck me as silly.
Next one.
Yep.
Next one. Okay, you've got the White Album, haven't you? Which is white, but it has the Beatles written in it, so you can see that that is who it is. And then it's got labels on it. Now, I bought this when this came out, so this is a indie, punky sort of band. There, called Birdland. Now, my main problem with this is it's just, you know, Spinal Tap album was obviously like all white, all black. You know, what's blacker than black? Well, this is just white than white. And not only is it white there, yeah, you open it up, you can't see the picture there with Birdland written on it very well.
Okay, is it embossed?
It's got a track listing and you cannot see it very well.
Oh.
Yeah.
You almost have to take a piece of paper and a pencil. And is it embossed on there, or is it just in very faint type?
One shoot you down, lazy recordings. I can't see it. And then even it's white vinyl, which is fair enough, but
of course it is.
White label as well.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to really confuse the record buyer. Like you don't know what you're listening to. It doesn't make for a very good listening, or at least enjoyable experience if you don't know what songs you're listening to. You don't know in what order. It looks like a promotional copy of an album or something.
It's a proper release.
Like you have sometimes 12-inch singles that are just stuffed into a white sleeve, but
yeah,
it's
just too white.
Way too white. Yeah. And you're going to get, I'm sure copies of that will get ring wear very easily, like the regular white album did. But very as plain as, at least they have the sticker on there. Otherwise, you wouldn't know at all what it was.
Yeah. Birdland. Yeah.
Birdland. Okay. There must be Charlie Parker fans or something. All right. Back to heavy metal. And I think this is Swedish metal. Again, it's hard, trying to do deep dives on some of these record covers is difficult, but we're talking about bad illustrations. This is a band called Wolf. As near as I can tell, they're Swedish metal. I don't even know what's going on here. Is it a werewolf? It's badly drawn. Crude, I think, is the word that I'm looking for. So I don't know. Arnold is artist, as I can see over the werewolf shoulders, but yeah, it's just a silly, crude looking drawing. And it's something, again, like I saw on, some high school notebooks where kids would just kind of, while they were in class, drawing and doodling and whatnot. But somebody added color to this, and they thought, well, that'd make a great album cover, I guess, but it's just bizarre looking.
I will say I like most of these albums I've got, to be honest. There's just a couple that are, I bought.
Well, it's good, because otherwise, you wouldn't have any reason to own them.
Yeah, this is a known album. It's got a great track. It's by Chris Rea. It's got a great, very long track, 8-9-minute track called "Nothing to Fear." It probably had a couple of other hits on it. It's after The Road to Hell. It's from 1992. Obviously, Velvet Underground, famous for their Peeling Banana. But why did they have to do a banana skin? Is this a double entendre? Is it a euphemism? And it's God's great banana skin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a banana skin. I mean, and a blue background.
Yeah, it reminds me of, obviously, and everyone probably is reminded of the Velvet Underground and Nico, that first album, but that was a banana. Why would you just have the skin? I mean, is it
throwaway album? Yeah.
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 I want to know, what is God's great banana skin? What does it mean?
Oh.
Is there any song titled that? Or is that just the name of the record? You got to sort it out. Wow.
Yeah, there's a song called that, yeah.
Yeah, well, very bizarre. I mean, it's striking that
Yeah.
just striking, but not for a good reason.
Chris Rea. You know the joke about Chris Rea and Dire Straits, don't you? Obviously,
No,
they
I
got together.
don't think so.
So
Was he in Dire Straits?
They're called Diarrhea, aren't they?
Oh.
Yeah,
That's the first time I've heard that joke. Okay.
probably the last. But
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
All
dear.
right. Going back to metal, and
Yeah.
this is band Anthrax.
Dear.
Again, another crude drawing. Yeah, I don't know. And Anthrax has some better covers than this. I don't know if this was their first. I think this was their first album, Fistful of Metal. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a fan of this cover. I think it's a little bit grotesque. I don't think it's rendered that great. Is that a hand on top of this guy's head? Whose hand is that?
Looks like there's something squashed, like a mouse almost, or something. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can kind of see like the fist. Is that his tongue there, like sticking out the side of his mouth? I can see like his teeth there. So
what's that on top of his head?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Is that a hand on top of his head? Whose hand is that if it is? Is that his own hand? Is that somebody else's hand? Was this part of a larger picture? I don't know. I wonder who drew it. Anthrax fans, I'm sure, can maybe shed some more light on it, but yeah, I don't know. In ways, to me, it looks a little goofy. Yeah, just okay, Anthrax. I mean, it's sort of the same reason why I don't like that Pantera cover. I mean, it could have worked maybe done in a different way, but
it's sort of a little bit like, when somebody has to if you've ever been involved in a crime or seen something, you have to reconstruct it. It's sort of like the guy is sitting there doing the drawing, isn't he? Is saying like, okay, it looked like that. Yeah. Did it look like this?
Yeah, you have to imagine. Like, okay, now what would it look like if somebody punched you? And I guess, I don't know, would it be from the back of the head, back of the throat? Is it coming up from? I don't know, but you have to have a pretty vivid imagination to think about, what would that do to the human skull to have a fist coming out like that. Yeah.
Okay, so last one, sadly.
Okay.
Nearly at the okay, so this is an album by two men, I would say, that were probably dressing as they were in the 80s, ahead of their time. I think it's like sort of easy listening sort of music for people to dance to, like waltzes and cha-cha-cha, and one's playing a keyboard or something. Anyway, a very long time ago, I went out with that religion, the ones, without naming it, the ones that believe in 144,000. That one, not the ones from Utah that wear suits like Men in Black. The other group, they come and they knock at your door and they tend to ask you questions about what you think.
Sure.
Because maybe they don't know the answers. I don't know. Anyway, this pair of men, they very much look like they are from that, or maybe that guy was called David Koresh, if you remember him.
Oh yeah. The Branch Davidians.
Yeah. So this is the Malcolm Wills duo, Sincerely Yours, and if you look this up on the internet, they've actually interviewed them more recently because it's such a bad album cover. They've actually so what on earth were you thinking at the time? So that is from 1988 with some lovely, these jumpers, which I don't know whether you can still get these ones with the diamonds anymore.
Yeah, I love that. Just the whole look at it. It looks like they're standing in front of a house. Like, okay, you gonna go up there, buddy? You gonna try and convert some souls to the religion or whatever. Yeah, it's
Like,
really,
yeah.
it's so comically bad that I can't imagine anybody looking at that thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
looks great. We'll go with that. You know, it's, yeah, they do look like door to door, you know, like Jehovah's Witnesses or something.
Horrible glasses as well. Oh, glasses and the trousers with the pleats and the, oh, have you got any rings on? I don't want to be rude, but these people that have that little ring, you know, like a special ring on their little pinky finger. So yeah, and there he is. All right, mate, it's your turn now.
Well, religious covers are some of the worst album covers.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many hilarious religious themed, you know, gospel album covers, and they're all by white people too, by the way, that are just horrible. And that's a great example of one of them. You know, and some of the album titles too are just so suggestive, like in a sexual way, even though I'm sure I know they never intended it to be like Enter Me, Lord, or I mean, just other. I'm sure you know others that I don't want to go into on this episode, but yeah, that's solid gold right there. They look like a comedy duo or something on Saturday Night Live. Like this was an album that you'd see on a comedy show or something, making fun. Yeah, wow. Couple dapper gentlemen right there.
Yeah.
And they're sincerely yours.
Sincerely yours.
Like what you put on like a salutation or something, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. Well, my last one, and this is one I've shown, I know on an episode before, everybody's seen it, but it's in my collection. I'm not proud of the fact that it's in my collection, but it is. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the infamous Love Beach album, where they look like they're channeling the Bee Gees on here. You got the hairy chest. Like very much. I mean, if you looked at this from afar and you asked, who is this? You know, of course you're going to say, oh yeah, it's the Bee Gees, but it's not. And knowing what you know about Emerson, Lake and Palmer, they're a progressive rock band. All their album covers to this point have more or less looked like progressive rock album covers. This looks like yacht rock or something. And this is one of those albums where it was like, okay, it's our last album for the label, sort of one of those contractual obligation albums. And so I think they probably did not give a crap and were like, whatever, we'll pose on the beach. Or that just seemed to be in vogue in the late 70s. Everybody was, you know, unbuttoning their shirts and letting their chests hang open. That was, I think, the fashion of the times. But, you know, Emerson, Lake and Palmer should have known better. You were never going to see Yes with a cover like that.
The guy in the white, it looks like he's got that palm thing going through his head as well. Yeah. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Never thought about that, but yeah. Definitely looks like he's been impaled.
Yeah.
The palm branch.
Is it a good album?
It's okay. There's a track on here. It takes up an entire side. It's called Memoirs of an Officer and a Gentleman. You know, that's all right. It's the first side's not great. It's definitely a hit or miss album, but
yeah,
you know, they went out with a whimper. Unfortunately, that was their last album for a while. And then they did the Emerson, Lake and Powell record, but yeah. Well, this was a lot of fun, Martin. You had some treasures to show for sure. If anybody knows the origins of any of these, or you have any comments you want to make, if there's any albums you want to suggest for future episodes, definitely let me know. Thank you so much, Martin, for joining me and sharing, in the flushing of these terrible album covers. Hopefully we'll hear from you again soon. Check out The Vinyl Scavenger. That's the name of Martin's channel. You can check him out and his music collection. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.